What do you mean you don't want to use yours? I ain't hating.
Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town, yeah.
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Yo, this is the Profanity Nation podcast. This is the voice of the professional fan, and we are your hosts. I am Jeff Simsta, and I am joined here by my co-host, as usual, Mr. Money Mike. How you feeling, sir?
Hey, I'm all right. It's a good day today.
Good day?
We don't have to talk about Lakers not making the playoffs no more. I'm recovered from that. I'm on to the new season.
Deal?
My only mission, I must say, my only mission is now how can we get the Celtics to lose?
Okay, so that's so
Yeah.
okay. Well, we'll get to that because they are on fire. Absolutely. Of course,
Yeah.
of course, it's not a show without our other co-host here, Mr. Stat Pat. How you feeling?
Yes,
buddy?
sir, man. I'm feeling good, man. Yeah, I'm with Mike on that, dude. It's Buck Falston for sure, man.
Yeah, right.
We can't let them go ahead and get that number 18 on us. I mean, no.
No. Okay. All right. So as usual, of course, you know, this is the Profanity Nation podcast. So we bring it to you live and we bring it to you real. So tonight, what we're talking about here, of course, unless you're living under a rock, it's the NBA playoffs. And the playoffs are happening, even though there is not an LA team in the playoffs, which is a good thing if the Lakers aren't there. However, our arch nemesis, the Boston Celtics, if you're a Lakers fan, you know darn well our arch nemesis is the Boston Celtics. They are playing quite well, guys.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, man. I have a whole lot of thoughts about that game, but I'm gonna just say this: this guy Jason Tatum right now, I've seen him before.
Yes.
You know, the guy was a little bit, lankier than him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a little bit more brown skin.
Look familiar, huh?
Yeah,
have more hair.
But I mean, I mean, obviously he can't be ordained the second coming yet.
No.
But he has everything. And he's taking over games.
Mm-hmm.
And he's willing his team to win, and people are going on his back. So it's a pretty interesting dynamic over there.
Of course, Tatum is what we would call a Kobe disciple.
Yeah.
Learned from the school of Kobe.
And it's hard to see like all that tutelage going into a Celtic player. Like
Right.
It's literally coming to fruition.
It is.
And we are looking at all the fruits of Kobe Bryant's just, brilliance on the court. And Tatum was just sucking, soaking it up like a sponge. And he's putting it out there now. And so now it's like, it's kind of hard because how do you stop that? And he's going against Kyrie. And we got to talk about, I mean, Boston is one story, but we should be trying to talk about what's going on with those Nets because, first of all, I was talking about what I heard. They were the best duo in the league, and they look anything but right now.
But you know what, though?
They're about the best duo about to get swept.
But see, that's the thing, though. Like, so it's really, really interesting because if you look at these games, every one of these games are competitive. And every one of these games, I mean, this series could be 3-0 the other way. It could be 2-1.
Yeah, but it's not.
But what I'm saying is that's because of Jason Tatum, doing and pulling things off at the end. But dude, like, let me ask y'all, I'm not hating on nobody's religion.
We're gonna see.
I ain't hating, but when did Kyrie become Muslim?
Oh, he's been Muslim for a while, man.
Okay,
like a few years.
But I just never noticed the of the fasting, the Ramadan, and like I said, for what we understand, for what it is, you fast from sun up to sundown, for a whole month. And this guy over there eating a banana, they over there tapping the watch like, yo, go get your banana or something. Like,
hey, when it comes to Kyrie's been off half the season already. So all that tired talk about Kyrie and all that stuff, miss me with all of that. I don't care if it's Ramadan. I don't care what it is, dude. I understand about the religion, but we're acting like he's the first Muslim to play in the playoffs to go and fast during Ramadan. Like, this is every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have players come and go in this time of the year all the time, and nobody making it a big deal about his religious choice. And that's why I'm thinking that we were talking about this off camera, but the excuses I'm hearing for them, I never heard those same excuses for my team. And we were talking about the all injury team. We're talking about all kind of stuff like that. I ain't hearing nobody talking about them, and why nobody putting them in the same light as what they need to be, like what they do with AD and LeBron. Now, of course, Mike, I know you're going to have a different opinion about that. But it's what it is.
I want to get into it though.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So look, I'm on my way, about to get ready for church, man, and I'm watching, the NBA pregame stuff come on, and they got Stephen A. and Mike Wilbon and Jalen Rose. They are killing KD. They're saying that KD is giving up. He's not doing any effort. They gonna get swept. They might as well get swept because
might as well just quit.
Yeah, like they don't want to go. There's no reason for them to go back to Boston. And I'm trying to figure out, like, yo, why are you guys giving all this slack on KD, but when you don't give it to other players?
You know what? Let's hold up a second here. We've got a friend here. Let's go ahead, if we can, producer Dwan, let's remove the comment really quick. Let's get Marco in here. Marco's now available to join us, of course. Marco Nunez, our in studio. Here he goes, our professional athletic director. How are you, Marco?
Doing well. How's everybody doing today?
Good. You look great today, actually, nice and bright.
Got kind of scared, man. I saw the green on. I was like, no. I was like, what's going on?
Did you get
different green?
Different
green.
Hey,
we're right with the Green Lantern. Okay.
Hey.
I was like, did you make an announcement over here?
Hey, I know it's all business, but no, man, that's dirty business.
Yeah, like, oh.
Hey, Marco.
Hey, so Marco, since you're on here, we kind of was talking about touching about Kyrie. And this whole fasting thing with the, with Ramadan, and we had the sun up to sundown type of thing, and we saw him. I know you probably saw him. He, right? They was clicking a watch, and he went and ran down and got a banana to eat the fruit to kind of give him the injury and stuff. My two questions, two-part question for me. First of all, I always feel like your body's a machine, and your body can eventually understand what you're doing to it and adjust to it. And we're like 20 days into the month, shouldn't he be okay, like right around now, if he had been doing it all, since the start of April 1st, to now? Or is it just because of the amount of energy that they bust out is just never going to be balanced?
You're talking about as far as his nutrition, his diet, because he can't eat between sunrise and sundown.
Yeah, so he's not allowed to have anything, not even water, from sun up to sundown. And then after that, he's able to eat and have whatever he wants. But from, let's say, 7 to 7 every day,
correct,
he's not able to have anything. But he's been doing this fast since the 1st of April. Okay, and it's a month fast. So I'm thinking, like, okay, the first week, it'd probably be kind of tough on your body. But I'm thinking, it might be my ignorance, that 20 days in, your body is starting to recognize what we're doing to be able to adjust to that. Or is it just because of the amount of running up and down the court and stuff you're doing? It's not. Does
the fasting continue to take a toll, or does your body adjust once you're about 20 to 30 days in?
Your body may try to adjust a little bit while you're into it, but it's still going to take a toll, because at the end of the day, your body needs energy to be able to kind of work out and do whatever you need to do. Just like when you have a vehicle, if you don't fill it up with the gas type of thing, you're not going to go anywhere. Now, I think this is something that we touched upon, I think, like 2 weeks ago, when someone asked me, but we were talking about the marathon, where you do what's referred to as carb loading, like the night before. I'm assuming that they have a dietitian on staff, and that's probably what they're monitoring, and they should be monitoring as far as his carb loading the day before. Make sure he gets enough carbs in there, enough protein to be able to kind of replenish that while he's fasting and be able to play the game type of thing. But even then, it still takes a toll, especially the hydration. I remember that a lot of people kind of neglect hydration. They forget about the importance of hydration and staying really hydrated, whether pre-game, during the game, and more importantly, after the game, as part of your recovery process. So that part is kind of tough. Now, I don't know whether getting an IV is kind of part of it, or you're allowed to do that. Maybe he can receive some nutrients that way. Maybe that's how they're kind of going around it. I don't know what the religion is, and I mean, I don't know what the religion is, but I don't know what it entails as far as his limitations, whether you can't consume anything here, or stuff like that. So I'm hoping they are trying to figure out something to do with them. But yeah, it's even though you fast and you carb load, it still takes a toll on your body. You are an athlete. You're going 100 miles per hour. Now, if you're just the average Joe, then okay, maybe I get it. I understand type of thing. But it's tough.
Okay. So let me ask you though. So the first thing he got was a banana. Is that the best thing to get, or should you get an apple or orange or something? Because the first thing we saw him get was that banana.
Correct. Correct. So one of the things as far as pre-game or during the game that you want to consume something that's very more liquid based or soft, that your body's going to absorb, break down immediately, and kind of utilize for energy. So one of the things that I tell athletes, an hour before or 2 hours before, the last thing you want to do is you want to try to avoid from eating foods high in fat type of thing, because it can sit in your stomach type of thing. You also want to try to maybe reduce some of the foods that are high in fiber. Fiber, to some extent, because then if you have too much fiber, then you're going to have to kind of either go use the restroom in between. So something more liquid based, something that's soft that your body's going to be able to kind of take in, break down right away, and be able to use it for energy. That's kind of what you want pregame or in between. So like at halftime, we should have some kind of gels for the players type of thing, liquid based type of thing, so the body can absorb it and be able to do it. Because otherwise it takes more energy for the body to break down anything that's heavy, that if he's already fasting, he doesn't have the energy to be able to do that. So you want to try to get something soft. So banana would probably be nice because it's soft and be able to consume it right away.
Hey, Marco, I got a question for you. During that fasting, is the player more at risk for injury and or just cramping and things like that, or lower performance, or is the injury risk higher?
Well, definitely as far as the cramping, the dehydration may take a toll if he can't consume any water between sunrise to sunset type of thing. So they have to kind of monitor that type of thing. Like I said, one of the issues, or maybe go around it, and I don't know whether he's able to do this, is maybe have set up some IVs. I know when I was with the Lakers, whenever we had athletes that had low energy, or they were recovering from some kind of sickness or illness or the flu or anything like that, and they weren't able to eat or drink or anything like that because they just didn't have the appetite, we would make sure we try to reproduce those or replace those nutrients with some kind of IV. Make sure they get the electrolytes and hydration in that part, some vitamins in there to kind of make sure they have the energy to be able to kind of perform and be able to play. I don't know what the rules are as far as Ramadan, if that's something he's willing to do or if that's something they're doing. If it is, that's actually a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So let me ask you about Embiid. Embiid has a torn ligament in his right hand, and they already said, he's going to have surgery. He said he's going to play through it, and it just hurts. Like for him to, he said the hardest thing for him to do now is to get a rebound. Go grab a rebound because but he's playing through the pain. Now, I'm assuming because we've talked about it all season, ligaments torn. There's nothing else really we could do with that. It's just all about pain management at this point.
Yeah. So right now it's just basically pain management, reduces the swelling if it accumulates in the area. They probably tape it as much as they can, try to give him support. At this point, pain is his guide. If he can tolerate the pain and he can play through some discomfort, then he keeps going. If it gets to the point where, hey, you know what? Picking up a cup of coffee or a cup or even a pencil is so painful that that's it. Then or trying to dribble the ball that he gets so much pain on that part. Then at that point, he's probably have to say, you know what, I think I cannot continue. But right now, pain is his guide. They have to try to help control the swelling type of thing. But I mean, it's playoffs, and this is one of the things that he's not the first athlete that does this. Other athletes will kind of continue doing this, but you just kind of play through it until you feel like, hey, you know what, the pain is so unbearable that I can't compete. Or two, you're just kind of taking up space on the court. You're not being helpful. Another player can maybe come in, but even then, it's Joel Embiid. Just like I should tell, if you had Michael Jordan at 75%, do you still want him on the court versus somebody else that's healthy at 100%?
Yeah.
He's the star of the team.
Gotcha.
Correct.
Well, good. All right, Marco, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us as you do every week. Can you please let our listeners know the best way to keep up to date with what you've got going on?
Sure. If you guys have any questions regarding sports injuries, rehabilitation, or recovery, please feel free to DM me on my Instagram at MarcoA17 or follow, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Evolve Athletic Performance.
All right. Thank you so much, Marco.
Thank you, Marco.
Look forward to
All right.
seeing you next week. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you.
Peace.
Bye. All right. So now that we're talking about Embiid, now we're talking about the torn ligament. When you're dealing with a pain question there and how much you can tolerate, guys, there's a long way to go in these playoffs.
Yeah.
And with the Nets looking like they are, that opens a door. Right?
Oh yeah, it opens a big door.
So I mean, that's a lot of pressure on Embiid right now to just keep playing and make it happen. Right.
Yeah, I mean, because look, I'm gonna tell you when they
WWKD
when they got Harden,
WWKD. What would Kobe do? He would play.
Hey, we already know what Kobe
he would play.
We
It's not
already
even
know
a
what Kobe
question.
would do.
Cut it off. He'll still play.
Yeah.
Kobe learned how to shoot with his left hand.
Exactly.
True.
Exactly.
So it's what it
working.
is.
So
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
yeah, we already know what Kobe did.
So what would Kobe do? But there's a long way to go in these playoffs. Stat, you've been watching the playoffs closely.
Yeah.
I would say right now, guys, the biggest surprise would have to be the Boston series. Not that Boston's necessarily leading, but in the manner that they are. Now, Money Mike brought up a point that the games have been close, but that doesn't matter. The record is what the record is. The chatter on the street is, should the Nets even continue? Has KD given up on the team?
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, I mean, just help me out with that. Like, none of these games have been blowouts. KD has definitely not been playing at KD level and what we've seen him do. I'm actually wearing a KD shirt today, just trying to help him out, give good vibes to him. Not really because I'm hating on anybody or anything like that, but I don't want the Celtics to
no one in this room want any parts of
so most people watching this show don't want it. Hey, go ahead and comment if you're. We know you're watching. We can see you guys out there. What do you think about the Boston and New York Nets?
But
series?
let me pose this
Brooklyn
question. Let me pose this question. Everybody, like, literally, when they came on, like, I mean, it was Stephen A. Smith and it was Will Bond and it was Jalen Rose, and they were just beating up KD. Like KD's not even trying anymore.
Did they call him Cupcake?
He's giving up. They're saying all these things about him, like all these games have not been competitive. All these games they haven't. I don't think anybody's lost by more than 6 points in these 3 games. Like the first game was literally a last second shot. So can KD play better? Absolutely, but they're beating him up. And I will say this: I think if LeBron was performing the same way KD was, they would not be beating.
Well, I would say this. I'll be honest with you. We're what we're not going to do for the Nets are giving them any kind of moral victories. We're not going to do that. We're not going to give them the moral victories. We're not going to say that they gave it the old college try and they should be getting any kind of credit for that. First of all, if we're talking about the 2 guys, if you were talking about which duo would you take before that series even started, you had KD and Kyrie and you had Tatum and Brown. And everybody to a man would have said KD and Kyrie. So what their standard they're being held to is the expectation that this should have been a series and not a 3-0 series, regardless of it being close. The problem is, in a way, that's almost putting their problems out there on Front Street if you think about it, because who really has the closers? We're talking about the closers, and you would think, KD has done it in the playoffs. He's got championship pedigree. He got all of this. Well, let me see it then. Kyrie, he hit that big shot. He sent. It wasn't LeBron. It wasn't. I've heard this all the time. It wasn't LeBron chase down block that was play of the game. It was like Kyrie's 3 in the corner and put him up by. That's the play of the game. That's what won the series. Okay, do it again. You see, we're not doing these things again, but we want to go ahead and live in the past. What I'm saying is we got right now. I don't give a damn about next. We got right now. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with this? And that's where I think that now, and if we're going to go ahead and compare him with LeBron, who's in his prime and who's on the way out. But
there's also,
that's what it is.
You have to add to the mix that they made a big trade.
Yeah.
They made a big trade. They had Harden. They made a big trade. They doubled down on their duo.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can't just cop out and say,
Harden would look pretty good right now for him.
I'd like to run one name past you guys and see what your reaction is, please. Steve Nash. Money Mike.
Well, Steve Nash don't know what to do. Like, I think, and then he got his homeboy D'Antoni over there who really don't know what to do. So a lot, there are adjustments that have to be made that I don't think Steve Nash knows how to make.
Can't make
Nor does, and we know D'Antoni don't know how to make it.
Nope.
So that, to me, is why they will possibly be swept or will lose the series. Because I believe that,
they're losing the series, by the way.
Yeah, but I can't blame the player. Am I wrong for not believing?
Yes, dude.
Well, because here's the thing.
You are wrong.
Well, why am I wrong
with that? Because what I'm hearing, bro, I'm just gonna be honest with you. What I'm hearing is if you would have put LeBron James in that same situation, LeBron James would have been raked over the coals by you. And I'm saying, and I'm sure that's what I'm saying.
But
So
the
what's the difference? The difference is KD's this silky freak athlete, supposedly all this and all that. Then I need to see it, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, everyone's talking about, like, why is he not? Do you need to be accountable for your legacy? If people want to throw him in and say he got 3 championships or 2 championships or whatever it is, and he's top 10 all time, then I need to see top 10.
This is the time.
I need to see top 10. So I'm not trying to hear any of that no more.
Torn ligament in the East.
I'm trying to hear all that.
Bron's out.
Yeah,
in the West.
Win.
Look, I completely feel that. I don't think that this series is over. They're talking like this series is
It's
over.
not over. I don't think it's over now.
I think if KD plays to his capability, and I'm expecting more from KD, if he averages almost 30, he averaged almost 30 points in the regular season.
Right.
He's only averaging 22 in the playoffs. If this dude bumps that up to about 28 points, then they definitely could come back with a backdoor sweep.
Yes, they could.
Love our guy Demetrius. Of course, he was in the other week. Demetrius, you're right. Steve Nash needs to go. He's just like Mike and Tony. No D.
No D.
We're talking about coaching now. So we're talking about teams that are underperforming, right? We're talking about the Lakers underperformed this year. Now we're talking about the Nets underperforming in the playoffs. Player, is it coach? Is it player? Is it coach?
I think it falls a lot on Nash because like Money was saying, we were talking about this with our guy, with Fogel. You don't see the rotations. You don't see him making the right moves where you can see them going, because you're really measured as a coach in the playoffs is what you do in the fourth quarter and the last 2 minutes of the game. You get the credit, and then you also get the fall. And right now, since they're down 3-0, and no one can conceivably think that, oh my God, Kyrie and KD can be this bad, it has to be the coach, then they're getting the pass on that. And I think but at the same time, Nash should be, you got this kind of talent, you can get fired with this kind of talent. Like you can get fired. And with a person like KD, and we've seen KD perform on the big stage before. So what is it? He's only averaging 22 points, KD, in the playoffs? No. He can do that in the first half. I've seen him do it. He's combustible like that. So we need to see, all right, I really believe it starts with Nash, and I think Nash is going to get fired if he doesn't get them to the – if they get swept, Nash is really on the hot seat. Because there's a lot of momentum in that direction, a lot of people calling for his job because they can't see what's going on right now. And I agree with him.
Yeah, right. You're talking about in the playoffs, it really comes down to coaching because you have time to make to make transitions, to make changes, and to adjust your game plan. And that's where the true coaching came in. Look, we're spoiled. We saw the genius Phil Jackson. Okay. We always knew that when the Lakers lost a playoff game, that Phil was going to come back and we were going to see something different. And we always did. Whether it worked or didn't, you saw something different. You knew there were changes coming. Bogle, you never saw that. Steve Nash, you're not seeing that. Yeah. Is this going to be a big coaching carousel this year of coaches just getting fired, Money?
I mean, well, we already saw Vogel's gone.
Vogel's
right?
gone.
So
yeah,
I don't think they're going to fire Nash, though. I think they're going to definitely give him like another year.
Hornets fired their coach.
Well, but here's the thing.
Yeah, I know. And he's improved the team 3 years in a row by 10 games or more.
Got blown out in the play-ins twice.
And it just didn't understand, but they were dog crap. And then they went, to get, 10 games ahead. And then next thing, to get, I keep saying Lonzo, to get Melo. Coach. And then it just, but then who are you going to get? what do you? Is at the end of the day, what is your aspirations at this point? See, what do you? I'm looking at the 8 teams in the East, and I'm saying, okay, Charlotte has a good squad, but where do they feel that this new coach is going to take them? Because the new coach got to just get them into the playoffs. I thought this guy was able to just get them into the playoffs. Because if you're trying to get a new coach, then you're saying to me that they need to get to at least the conference semifinals.
Mhm.
They got to get
They're
to the second round.
Playoffs,
And I'm thinking, like, are we really saying that about the Charlotte Hornets? That they're second round material when you still have an up and coming Trae Young, when you still have all these guys.
And look how long it's taken the Pelicans. Look how long it's taken the Pelicans.
I don't see it. I don't see it. So.
Yeah, I mean, but that definitely what they expect. So, I mean, when you fire the coach in this term, you're basically saying that, hey, the team is good. So it's a problem with leadership. And that's the reason why they are not performing at that level. So, and a lot of times we've seen that happen, right? We saw, and like, this is a bad example, a good example at the same time. Like, we saw Steve Kerr come in for Mark Jackson, and then all of a sudden they win a championship. You saw Phil Jackson come in, and they win a championship with a different coach. He
did that twice. He did that in Chicago too.
Yeah, he did that with Doug Collins and Del Harris.
Yeah, we definitely see when a coach could definitely make a difference. But I'm like you though, there's LaMelo's was only his second year, so. And they were building and getting better every year. Like, I think it was unfair when they fired was Albert Gentry when they were in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he was like coach of the year. Like,
how you find that guy?
And then, like, dude, like they did make the playoffs. They lost. They swept. AD played great. But yeah, I mean, there's a growth period that has to happen, and I think there needs to be sometimes. It's really interesting because sometimes coaches are there too long, and other times they fire too quick.
Well, see, I think that's the part that we don't know. We're not in the locker room. So exactly what you talk about, when coaches there too long, they lose their voice, they lose the ear of the team.
Popovich ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, what's that?
Popovich ain't going nowhere.
No, Popovich owns the team. He has friggin' stock in the team.
Right.
There's his statue before anyone else's out there. I don't know if they have a statue out there, but his before anybody's.
Right.
Okay, so let's just talk about this hypothetically here, guys. The first thing that came to my mind for the Pelicans, at least, was Scotty Brooks.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I like that. But when we were just talking about, we used the word transitional coach, and I think that he is that. Scott Brooks, he took, he was, I can't say he took the OKC.
Right.
I think they took him.
Yeah. They took him.
I mean, when you have Westbrook, when you have Harden, you have KD, you're being, and Jeff Green at the time, I think, it's kind of like you're being taken to the finals, and he did okay in Washington a little bit. I like him to get you, you need a stable coach. You need some structure. Bring in Scotty Brooks. He's going to give you that. Now we're talking about that, the playoffs and how everything is under a microscope and how can you adjust. I don't think he has that. That's why a lot of people look. I'm gonna tell you right now from the front, off Front Street, I don't want Phil Jackson back in the Lakers. I think that horse is gone. I think it's already left the barn and it's all the way down now. Is pretty much Santa Anita at this point. Like, it's already out. But one thing you know him is that if you get him in, I don't care what the mind is not old. You know what I'm saying? I know the message might be, but if I put him in situational basketball and I need some X's and O's and I need to be able. One thing we're talking about these guys, these new coaches, and not making adjustments. I just look at Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson will almost use the first 2 games of series just to see what you got.
Oh, yeah.
He'll let you play your hand. He'll feel your hand. He'll give you the same rotation, and you'll go ahead. He loves it kind of like when you have home court advantage because you really trying to go hard and get your 2-0 win or 2-0 lead on the Lakers. And then game 3 happens, and all of a sudden the screws start turning. And next you know, it's a new program, and he now all of a sudden say it's a 5-game series, and I'm going to win 4 out of the next 5 games on you right now. And he's done that consistently. And don't let him split. Then he really playing with house money. You know what I'm saying? So
then you're done.
Then you're really done. Like, if you're on the road and he splits, you're over with.
So why don't we want Phil Jackson again?
Well, I'm just saying because I think we have the message. These are the new age players, and these youngsters.
We got the oldest team in the league.
Well, that's true. That is true. That is true.
Right.
That is true. But also, then doesn't LeBron don't like Phil because Phil
That's
is critical?
why it's perfect.
That's why.
Why it's perfect.
For me, that's why it definitely is.
Okay, but then at the same time, let's examine that. Let's just talk about it. Let's go out there.
Let's break it
up. We got the triangle. Where did he fit in the triangle?
Where does who? LeBron?
LeBron fits in the triangle.
He doesn't.
On the corner. The elbow.
That's what I'm knowing. That's what I know that. We've all pretty much as Laker fans.
But you know who does fit in that triangle?
AD.
Westbrook.
And AD.
Westbrook also got to shoot, dude.
And AD.
Yeah, but see,
gotta have an AD. If
Phil came back, we got rid of Westbrook. I would see Braun. Let's just put him at the point. Let's put AD at the 5 and run.
He would have to play the pick and roll.
Yeah.
He would have to play the pick and roll and be the guy, the initiator, and the ones who would go ahead and break it down. But he cannot hold the rock, and that's the difference. He wants to hold the rock, and that is a motion offense, and that means everyone is touching the ball, and the best shot gets the shot, not the best player gets the shot. I mean, there's been
that's what he needs right now because he's getting older. He needs to take the heat off him.
Well, he does. Does he really want that?
I don't know if he wants it.
I don't know what he wanted,
but he needs that.
But see, one of the main reasons why everybody called Kobe a hot dog is not that Kobe really was a hot dog. It's that he ended up with the ball, right? So he ended up with the ball because he moved within the triangle and got himself open. So that's what LeBron would have to do. Like, if he went and got himself in a position, post up, pass the ball out, repost, whatever, and then he could go ahead and get his shot. Or if he goes out from the top of the key, then he passes it in to AD. He could get on the spot in the corner. He gonna get that ball back within the triangle offense.
Mm-hmm.
So he can make that work. With them. It's just that is he gonna do it?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't want to go and run this type of offense and learn it again. He's a real smart guy, and is he? I know he's capable of doing it, but is he going to do it?
That he is. Hey, guys, let's take a real quick break here, all right? Let's take a quick break. Let's hear from our sponsors because they make all of this possible, and we will be right back. We are the Profanity Nation podcast, voice the professional fan, the Profanity Nation podcast. Don't go anywhere, everybody. We'll be right back. Thank you. Be sure to visit the Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center for all your 420 needs. They have everything from baby Jeters to Stizzy cartridges, fuzzies, pre-rolls, great deals on eighths, raw garden diamonds. They have your gear. They have Papa and Barkley relief patches. After a hard workout, you need those. CBDs, you know that. They have plenty of edibles to choose from. Be sure to hit up the Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center.
Oh, I gotta get back.
Guys, don't forget to hit up the Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center located in Chatsworth, California. They make it all possible. They have the CBDs. You
need those. You need those.
CBDs,
man, why does it feel like you're playing Super Mario Brothers, man? I
love the music. It gets me moving every time. All right, so let's move on to another subject. As you know, the Profanity Nation podcast has been on a mission. We're on a mission to find the truth. We want to know the truth, and we want to break it down. Fact or fiction? We've been watching HBO's Winning Time, the smash hit show based on the Los Angeles Lakers dynasty of the 80s, guys. And there's a lot of, we'll just say, talk out there. And we were I think we were one of the first ones, guys.
Yeah.
We were the first ones to say, how true is it? And to start to bring in some of the reporters. We had Roy Firestone on the show just last week. He broke it down. He told us that the portrayal of Jerry West, he didn't feel was very fair, was correct. And lo and behold, what happens that night or the next day? Jerry West files a grievance saying that he wants this. I don't know exactly what he's hoping for.
Say he wanted an apology, but I'm trying to figure out who wants to want an apology from. HBO.
HBO.
You can't want an apology from the Lakers.
No, I don't think the Lakers, because the Lakers didn't write this, so it has to be the producers or directors of the show would be my guess. Money Mike, we've been on top of this.
Let me just say this. Let me just say this. Winning Time is an amazing show.
Man, it's bomb, dog. It's so good.
It is really good. It is really good.
We could go and just say, is it truth? Is it not true?
I don't even care.
The way it was produced,
I don't care.
The way that they are, navigating through, the way they are like giving you insights about different things that could have happened. If it's real or fake, it really is amazing.
Dude.
Like this week, literally, Dr. J came. He was nurturing to Magic, and he was like, "Oh, Magic, you're a great guy. Let me help you out with your little girl problems and all this other stuff." Saying hi, what's up, what's going on, and he just busted his ass. And when they played him,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Magic, and then Magic was like, "I thought you were my friend." Yeah, dog. But
yeah, it's business.
It's a game. You know what I mean?
I can play easy on it. Exactly.
And so like, dude, like. Let me just say, whoever produced it, hey, this Jerry Buss.
Dude, I'm telling you, as far as I'm concerned,
right?
Like, dude, Jerry Buss, man, is the guy. Like, he's like, if anybody shouldn't be like who's portrayed the best, it's got to be Jerry Buss, man. Because you're a philanderer, yeah, okay, whatever. And you like, okay, but you knew that though.
Yeah, but he is fun to watch.
But he's fun. He's so fun.
Well,
and John C. Reilly is knocking it out of the park right now.
Yeah, he deserves a
at least a Emmy,
or something, or a nomination at least. That's for sure.
Yeah, the reason why it's so fun because you literally are watching this thing and you know that he's the owner of the team, and then you see him navigating through all this personal stuff.
It's so good.
And then he has this meeting, and you be like, "Oh, he made the Great Western Forum." That's how it became the Great Western Forum. Oh, I mean, he's making these moves.
Yes.
And you're like, oh, snap.
Yes.
This dude is still, he's literally innovating the game in the middle of everything else that you're seeing.
Yes.
That's why this show is amazing.
Yes, you're seeing him give the league the prototype of what the league can be if they just put a little bit more effort into the product. And it was funny because they're dropping nuggets, they're dropping nuggets with these characters that, they're not part of the main story, but there's a David Stern comes in, David Stern's at the meeting that he's looking at, he's like looking at his junk like, this is BS, you know what I'm saying? We need to fix this. And same thing, he's looking at the vision. He's looking at, you could tell he's looking at Magic. He's looking at Bird. He's like, I can market that. They don't like each other. Okay, let's market this, and once they started getting more people in the league, of course, they start marketing them better. Then you have Jordan, and then he just takes it to the next level. But it's just a lot of, like you said, money. It's just a lot of different things where Jerry Buss this whole season has basically been betting on himself. This whole thing has been betting on himself. People are counting him out. He bet on himself. He double downs. He triple downs or whatever. And he's wins. And like he said in the last show, not this one, but the one before that, like, yeah, I got to run a bad luck. But luck does go both ways. And I'm due.
As long as you can stay long enough.
And you're due. And that's where it is. And going back to, is it real or is it fake? Let's say it's an embellishment. Cool. I'll give you that. Don't be mad, guys, but because this is a great, entertaining product. But you want to go ahead and give us the real story, Magic? All right, I guess I got to go ahead and get a subscription to Apple Plus.
Apple, right?
You know what I'm saying? I got to do that if you want to hear it. But I think it's kind of funny. Like, this is how I thought it was funny last week. So we hear that Magic show is coming out. Then Jerry West is now asking for an apology.
Yep.
And then you have, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar write his on his blog. It was like the same week, everybody got something to say. Now the show had been on 5 weeks,
right?
But ain't nobody had nothing to say until like all of a sudden they all threw out some statements on the same week. It was almost like it was coordinated. It was almost like it was a PR situation.
You know why, right? Because they watch the show.
Yeah, they watched the show.
Well, that's what I was gonna say because they're saying that
we in this bitch.
There it is.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say though because look, Magic said I'm not gonna watch it, you know,
but they watch our show. They watch our show,
right?
So they saw that we were asking questions, and they said, "You know what? It's time that we start standing up for ourselves."
Yeah, because how can you critique something, and if you don't see it? I can understand, man, dude, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, what are you talking about? You got to go look for yourself, right? Like, it's almost like, you know, hey, I'm watching this reality show. It's really, really crazy. And he's like, man, I can't believe what they did on there. You want to go see what they talking about to see if it is just as crazy. I think it's hilarious that they're not admitting that they're watching the show.
Right.
You know they're watching.
They're watching the show.
They're watching there.
You know they're watching. And you know what's crazy also is the fact that everyone initially, when they started watching the show, they were mad about the portrayals of these characters. Now, if you're watching the show and you're consistently watching the show, then you know these characters that everyone's mad at are not that bad right now. Like they have an arc. You're first, but they were trying to get your attention.
Yep.
And this is how these people are. And it's
shock and awe, sure.
Jerry West is not bad right now. Like Jerry West really cares about. Now, of course, he has his little moment, and they're making fun of it. But Jerry West shows that he cares about the Lakers, and he's he's actually the mastermind about putting everything together. And
Absolutely.
It's like, you know, and Magic Johnson and his Kareem, their relationship is starting to blossom, and they're playing together. And you see what I'm saying? Like all these portrayals at the first was just setting the table for how all these characters are going to come together and become all the players that we know and love. Well, that's what I think we're at right now.
Right, and we just had Roy Firestone on last week.
Exactly.
And what did he say? Jerry West couldn't watch a game. He always would go into the bathroom.
And what happened in Boston?
What are we watching?
Yeah,
we're watching this guy going in the bathroom, you know, because he can't watch the game. We watched him like what was the last week? He was in a car and listening to the radio and just you know what I mean? Like so everything that Roy Firestone, and we know that he's accurate because he was there when it was happening. We're seeing on the show. So I don't think it's too far from the truth. I just think that they just don't want certain things to be revealed.
Right. And so we're gonna have Magic's 4-part
to have that curtain drawn back, right, and have your secrets shown.
It does, and it's funny because we, like I said before, in the 80s, I think there were a lot of journalists that wanted to protect these players. You know, they wanted to protect them. Once it got to the 90s, it was a free fall. It was open season, and you can tell by the fact that they were always on Jordan's, you know, back about his gambling and what his father's doing and all this other stuff. So
they were looking for the fall.
They were looking for the fall.
Absolutely.
And when it came to the other one early in the 80s, I mean, they don't want to talk about it, but we know for a fact that the NBA had a coke problem. From the late 70s to the early 80s, they had a coke problem. Basketball
the United States
was really about, like, I mean, God rest his soul, but Len Bias, you know, but basically he didn't even get to, and we don't even want to talk about. I mean, I'm a realist and I'm a basketball fan, true and true, but we don't even want to talk about Len Bias on that Celtics team and what that would have looked like. You know what I'm saying? We won our championship, but you put Len Bias, the kind of talent that he had with that mix of characters and doing it the Celtic way, they would have probably had a couple more championships on there, at least one more. You know what I'm saying? But cocaine and the drug addiction pretty much took him away from the game. So the lifestyle these guys are playing and all this stuff, like, look, man, that's just a name way in the game. And somebody, I think it was Christine said, one of our guests said that basically is that, you know, you don't like it when when the dirty secrets come out, you know, and that's the truth,
side of people,
the real side, and that's basically what it is, and their dirty laundry being put out, and they just they don't like it,
right? And that's the whole thing. That's kind of like the only reason I want to watch this Magic version of the Magic show, because I want to see, Magic. Okay, they got you with about 20 women. How many you gonna be with in your show?
Dog.
In your show,
it ain't gonna be no women in it, dog.
We know that Cookie wasn't rocking with you like back in the day,
Right.
and you had to come and get it. We know that. Like I know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When I was a kid, like that you knew her, like you've known her for 40 years, right? And you said, I've seen you have interviews. I knew I was gonna marry her, but what you really just saying when you say I knew I was gonna marry her, let me go ahead and get this out my system first.
Oh yeah.
Then I'm gonna come back and get you. You know what I mean?
Was going to.
Right.
I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah.
But you know what though? And the crazy thing about that though, ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, it isn't.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Like, honest.
Like, yeah, like, dude, like he's a rookie. He playing for the Lakers. He's coming 19, coming off the heels of a national championship that was the most televised game, watched game at that time in college basketball
One of the
history.
most famous men in the country at that point.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, of course they throwing draws. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. But he had to go ahead and do that.
And again, people, look, this was a completely different era. And in fact, Magic helped usher in the new era. Because you're talking about, I know you hear that the 60s was free love, but at this point it was still free love. The worst thing that you really thought was going to happen is you're either going to get someone pregnant or going to have to go take some pills or get a shot. You're done. Yep. You get a venereal disease of some kind after, of course, the Magic day and all that in the late 80s. We knew that it was different. Now it's your life on the line. But before then it wasn't that way. So like you said, everywhere he went, everywhere they definitely profile that in the series. That's for sure. But if they keep all that out, Money Mike, if Magic actually omits this, we'll call it the spiciness, girl. You know what I mean?
Scandalous.
Then I think he's gonna lose, and I think the series is gonna lose.
He is 100% is unless he starts with them being married to Cookie. Like that's the only way that. that I guess is a saving grace, but then that's the part we don't want to know. Because I don't know about you guys, I'm basically looking at Magic version of rebuttal to Winning Time. And so they have to talk about the same thing.
You know what? Do we know what format? Is it in the same I
think it's more like like
documentary,
like the Last Dance.
Okay, well, if it's more like the Last Dance, and that's just him telling his story, that's different. Yeah. This is a dramatization of it, but God, this is so fun. If you haven't seen the latest episode, we've caught up on. This is a quick little spoiler. I'm not going to give too much away, but. This episode and what I really like, Pelicans have tied up the series, guys. Pelicans have tied up the series, so the playoffs are moving.
That's major.
So this last episode, which I think we're on 8, if I'm correct, I would say definitely this is the rise of Pat Riley. This is the rise.
Absolutely.
You're starting to see the rise of Pat Riley and the fierce nature and him releasing that visa. It's kind of neat to see. It's so interesting the way that they're crafting these characters. They are characters. We'll just go with that. Crafting these characters and the way that they're bringing them along. And it's just so interesting. And you're really getting to learn not just that they're this person, but how they became that person and how their lives were while they were that. It's outstanding.
How they evolved.
Yeah, because there were so many people like we said again, when you look at it from the beginning, and your perception of it, because when we first saw Pat Riley, he was like, wait, he couldn't even get into the arena, right? And so
they would even let him in.
We were like. If we didn't know his name, he was Pat Riley, I was like, who is this bumbling idiot? That's like my first reaction. And then I was like, wow, okay. Then he kind of navigated himself in. Now he's went from this bumbling idiot, how he was originally projected, to basically controlling what the narrative is and fighting, to for his position.
I mean,
as an assistant coach,
because he almost knew that he was auditioning for the job. I mean, because
it doesn't look like he knew it, but it just looks like he wasn't going to accept anything less.
If you get, she said basically like 2 episodes back about how that made me lose my job and to come to coach with you, and you didn't tell me that you were pretty much, they were going to fire you if you didn't get things turned around in quick fashion. He knew at that point, well, then if that's the case, then we need to go ahead and show the owners and whoever is making the decisions what we got. And if you're not going to do what I said, then I'm damn sure going to step up into that role and do it. And then one thing about Pat Riley that I thought was pretty cool is just like you said, Money, to see him go from a person that couldn't get into the arena. Also, we're getting dissed by Chick Hearn. And that's another thing. Everybody's talking about portrayals. Like, who thought that Chick Hearn was a dick?
I didn't know he was that much of a dick, but apparently
he's a dick. Like, I'm like, wow, he called him Patricia. Yeah. I'm like, yo, I'm saying the reason why you can't make it in this business because your voice is terrible. I mean, Speaker Ernst would come in at this dude's neck, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa, Chicky baby, okay. When I do this,
let's just say Chicky didn't pull any punches.
And then look, Roy Firestone said, no, you didn't want to mess with Chick.
See?
You cross Chick.
And I like the fact that even out of all of that Pat Riley was like, yo, now who got, because, Elgin Baylor was kind of like, Riles, are you coaching? Like, because Riles was part of the team, 72 team.
Yep.
But he's still Riles. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? He ain't them. He ain't Baylor. He ain't, Wilt. He ain't West. He's six man. You know what I'm saying? Right. He ain't Happy Harrison. He's not any of those guys that actually put them on the map and made them win a championship. They treat him like little brother. Now, Riles is that guy. You know what I'm saying? He's that dude now. Like, wherever he's had the Midas touch wherever he went. Even though the Knicks didn't win the championship, Knicks was damn good basketball, though. They just had to run into Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And then
it just wasn't the time.
It just wasn't the time. And he did what he did. He did his thing in Miami.
I can't wait. They've teased it a little bit because as Laker fans, we all love Pat Riley. So they've teased it a little bit, like when he showered Westhead and he got him wet and he puts his hair back and it's like wet. And they teased it for a second. I'm really waiting for when he decides. When is he?
I need more hair products.
I need hair products. Episodes. We're gonna see what happens.
I need hair products.
When's he gonna also look in the mirror and have that Dirk Diggler moment? That Boogie Nights moment when he's like, "Nope, I'm slicking it back.
I'm having it.
I can't wait.
He's gonna do it
because it's coming." The show's looking great, guys. Magic and everything. The portrayal, it's fun. If you haven't seen it, really, it's recommended. Hit up HBO. If you don't have HBO, it might be worth maybe a free subscription or something.
Yeah, binge it.
Binge that. We have a couple more episodes coming up, but we're not done here with the Profanity Nation by a long shot. We're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes for Winning Time. We have more sports broadcasters coming to tell the truth about the show. Mm-hmm. And we even have some stars of the show, people that were on the show, people that were acting and were there. And we're going to find out what that was like. Nice. Now, it is confirmed, guys, that there is going to be a season 2, as we said. And that is supposedly going to be the second book, and that's going to take place of the Shaq and Kobe era. And wow, do they have to tread lightly when they get to Kobe in Colorado? I have no idea. They can. I mean, look, taking liberty with the 1980s Lakers and Magic and all that stuff is one thing. At this point, if they have one hair in the wrong place of this Kobe Bryant, and I don't know who's brave enough to play Kobe in this. I have no idea.
I wouldn't do it.
Right?
I would not do it.
I
wouldn't do it.
That's scary to think about, guys, but they are going to be working on it. And I can't wait to see it. I mean, but wow.
It would be great. I mean, obviously, because, if we're going to talk about Shaq and Kobe, I mean, we've all lived it. I mean, we were young enough to be in our heyday. All those old heads here on the show right now. We were in our heyday when that was going on, man. We were in the clubs.
Yes.
When that was going on. We were in the bars. We were early 20s. Exactly. But just to see them, I want to see them do it because honestly, I've gotten to the point where we all have to know that, like you said, we got to tread lightly with Colorado. But this is all a dramatization. And we need to take everything with a pinch of salt. If you're saying that this is the way it was, then I think you're missing the point. But at the same time, Vanessa Bryant has been very careful of how her husband is being portrayed and his image and his legacy. And she does not want anything to tarnish that. And for you to bring that up is also bringing a lot of, because I've seen a lot of people talk about why are we glorifying him? You know, even though he's died, but people are like he's a
there's still
alleged
people.
Rapist. So why are we? And it's like, and it's so,
he forever
and so
will.
that's what's going on.
Money Mike, we're all huge Kobe fans. You're a particular big Kobe fan, but not only that, you get a bit protective of it. So we have nice. We have a streamer recommend girls here. Okay. I like it. No problem.
What is going on?
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. We have comments here. So you got to go to the YouTube or Facebook video here at exactly 54 minutes or 55 minutes, and you'll see what the
you see.
We have some fans here that are leaving some comments, and we'll just leave it at that. That's it. Money Mike, I get the feeling that someone like yourself, a massive Kobe fan like you are, you don't want a dramatization. You don't want anything to be exaggerated when it comes to Kobe. You only want the truth. You can enjoy it with winning time, but would you enjoy it the same watching it with Kobe?
I think it's too soon. I just do. I think we got to go at least 10 years. I know that it's inevitable that something like that would happen. I know that networks, if you pitch something to a network and then they give you the green light, and then when it's successful, then they go to that same person and say, "What else you got?" You know what I mean? And I know that I'm not objecting to seeing that, but I'm objecting to it right now. I think we got to at least go another 10 more years.
How long?
At least another 10.
Another 10.
Yeah,
or 10 from the anniversary of.
Or at least
or somewhere around
there, 8 years, whatever.
It's hard to say.
I think it's too. I just think it's too early. Like it's too fresh. We still there. The people are literally still in mourning, and obviously people are 20 years from now, 10 years from now are still going to be in mourning. I just think it's too fresh to do something like that right now, just because it's just in bad taste to me right now.
Okay.
And that's why I wouldn't want to see it now. 10 years from now, I will be more. I will watch it either way, but I definitely think it won't be. I feel like it will be in less bad taste because of the time that.
Of course, it all depends how they handle it.
Right.
But if it's going to follow,
right?
If it's going to follow winning time and it's going to follow in the footsteps of winning time, the people who are watching winning time who aren't necessarily Kobe Bryant fans or not, they're expecting that type of show.
Yeah, but Perlman has a Jordan book too, right? Doesn't he have a Bulls one? I think Perlman has a Bulls one.
Yeah, he does.
We're talking about Jeff Perlman, the author of the book that Winning Time is based on.
Yeah, so let's just do the Bulls.
But see, the thing is, though, and this is all you fans.
Is that Michael Jordan?
This is for all you fans of other teams right now. Let me put you guys up on game. The reason why we're getting a second season and George's not getting one season is because we're the Lakers.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay, we're the Lakers. And we're in Hollywood and we're in LA. And this is the reason why we get things like that. And we can be out of the playoffs and still be the talk of the NBA because of this show as a dramatization of what happened in real life.
Well, forgive me though, right? If I'm right, Money, when you compare the Lakers dynasty to the Chicago dynasty, you don't have nearly the dynamic characters. You don't have the owner. You don't have the Jerry West. You have characters. You have players.
No.
You have players. Was it Krause?
Well, you got
Krause.
You want to do
Rodman. You got
but those are players.
Yeah, you got.
You don't have the coachy. I mean, I guess you got Jackson.
Oh yeah, you got the owner.
Oh, dude, who's gonna play Jackson in the? Shaq, Kobe.
Somebody that's 7 feet
we
tall.
need someone to play Shaq, Kobe, and Jackson.
I think that Jordan story is just as good, though. I mean, between that ownership, because keep in mind, winning time is really focused on Jerry Buss, and everything's getting played out
through him.
Jerry Buss's perspective and how he's moved his team.
Well,
you literally could kind of do that same thing with Jerry Krause and how he was talking and treating and how they were reacting, but they were still performing. It's a very interesting.
It's very interesting. The reason why winning time works over the other one is because the Lakers won a championship in that same season. So we starting from the beginning of I'm buying this dysfunctional this product that's, you know, in his league that is going to be bankrupt in about 2-3 years, and turned it into this thing. And then at the end of the season, the Lakers will win a championship. If we're talking about doing it with the Bulls, and you talking about when Jordan actually comes in as not a freshman, as a rookie, you got some time before you even get to the point where he's actually winning. You still got to talk about him getting his head beat in by the Knicks and the Pistons. By the Pistons, excuse me, not the Knicks, but the Pistons. That's not what we got here.
But what did the team do also that was groundbreaking? No new cheerleaders, no new
right. It's just different.
This is really like you said. This shows, you know, winning time shows how you can trace back so much of what we see in the current NBA down to Jerry Buss's vision and how he had to fight and basically look like a dog to get it done. Really, everyone thought he was crazy, and you know, whatever.
We're throwing chick isms in there. You know, you hear the bouncing like a yo-yo. That's chickism. You hear the slam dunk. I mean, you're hearing all these.
He coined the phrase.
Things that are Laker gifts to the NBA, if you will. I mean, exactly. It's what it is, right?
All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. If you join us every week, then you know for sure that we simply can't finish a show without a segment we call Money Mike's Out of Bounds. Money Mike is going to share his thoughts or opinions on a topic, and it's pretty simple. He just wants to know, is he in bounds or out of bounds? Money Mike, you've got the mic.
You know, this is probably one of the easiest ones. I'm gonna go back over to this whole Jay West asking for his apology. I think it's completely hilarious and funny to me. But I'm gonna tell you why I think it's hilarious and funny to me. Is Jay West, by asking for an apology, basically told everybody who is not watching the series to watch the series. So am I out of bounds to say that HBO is happy that he's asking for an apology? Because HBO probably just got another 2 million more subscribers.
You are 100% inbounds, if I could say, because if I knew we can get that kind of press by saying something and Jerry West would mention our name, I'd do it in a second.
Yes.
You are inbounds. That's a no-brainer. You're right. That's easy.
100%. And this is inbounds. I mean, come on.
I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like,
brings attention, and he will solve nothing.
Nothing.
The show's been out. Even if they say, okay, we're sorry. I mean, what he doesn't need money.
At this point.
There's zero. You just take the high road and you go, look, that's not me. It's a mischaracterization, and you move on.
That's it.
You go, oh, great show. I think it's fun to watch, and that's where you move on.
Yeah, that's it, dude.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, he just needs to get paid for the interviews at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, capitalize off of it. You can't stop it.
Money Mike got 100%.
Hey, he did. I mean, and look, and at the same time, he did call the Lakers at this point. What do you call it? What do you call when he was pitching it to pitching the Clippers to Kawhi? What did he call the Lakers?
Oh yeah, the crap show or something.
The crap show. He called the Lakers that. So on that note, no, you ain't getting no apology, bro.
No.
You sit there and you look at yourself. You look at yourself and
watch the show
and make better. And you should have made better decisions, Jerry.
Well, it does mean he's watching, or at least watched it.
Yeah,
that's what it
does. Or everybody around him has watched it.
His son watching, Ryan watching it.
Right. Like,
and they're like, that wasn't you. Can you stand that, Jerry?
Yeah, for real?
Everyone's like, did you see this Profanity Nation podcast? They're asking if that's true or not. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us again for another incredible episode. We will be here as usual next week. That is next Sunday, 8:30 p.m. live on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us at theprofanitynation.com or infanitystudios.com or Infinity Studios on YouTube now, which is our home studio. And we want to thank you. I want to thank our videographer, cameraman Theo. I want to thank our producer, Dewan. Everybody who commented, Demetrius, Christine, we saw you there. Thank you so much. And we out.
We out.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.